Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name is Chopper, and welcome back everybody to a brand new video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In this one, we're going to be going over 10 pro tips that only pro players do inside of Black Ops 4 Zombies. So this list is basically going to consist of a lot of different advanced mechanics and tips that you can do to employ in your games that will make you a much better Zombies player overall once you start practicing them. Before we jump into all that, if you guys could spare a second to leave a like rating on the video, I would appreciate that a lot, and it does help me out a ton. And I wanted to make sure that this list is something that can actually help you, and these tips are going to be useful game to game. Also, don't forget, if you do happen to be brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, as we're getting insanely close to 200,000, which is our next goal, and I have some awesome stuff planned for when we do reach that as well. But in the meantime, you've got plenty of more Zombies content to look forward to, so stick around for all of that. Also, make sure to let me know inside the comment section at the end of the video, how many of these tips did you end up knowing? Maybe these are brand new to you, maybe you knew some of these. Let me know inside the comment section when you're all done watching this. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into these things, the 10 things that only pro zombie players do. So coming in today at our number 10 spot, guys, is going to be moving while reviving teammates. So if you're able to sort of strafe or move around your teammate while you're resing them, this can be an extremely useful tool as to buy yourself those precious few seconds that you need to fully pick up your teammate. Now, in Black Ops 4, there's a little bit of a different revive system as compared to something like BO3. The revive bar is more of an additive thing. It's kind of collective. So say you get half the res off, but you get pushed off by a zombie. If you get back on it really quickly, you can put another like half res to pick the person up. So it doesn't completely reset the bar, which is nice. But using this tool, being able to kind of move around the person and buy yourself an extra 1 to maybe even 3 seconds away from zombies, save yourself those extra hits, will be an absolute lifesaver. It's just a good thing to get into the habit too while you're reviving. It's not always necessary, but you just don't want to be stationary if you know that there's zombies around, and you can avoid taking some unnecessary downs, in my opinion. So moving while reviving is a hugely important tool, and I definitely recommend that you employ this into your game when you're playing co-op matches. So coming today at our number 9 spot is going to be adjusting yourself for the round 50 zombie speed. What this means is that in Black Ops 4, the zombie health caps out at round 50. That's why some of your bullet weapons can actually kill up to, you know, round 50 plus, 100, 200, and so on. But what this also means is that around that round, the zombie speed is going to be severely increased and almost comparable to the Verrückt sprinters from back in the days of World at War. Now, the one thing you need to know is that, like, without stamina, without anything like that, the zombies can then outrun your walking speed, meaning that you'll need stamina or you need to be running quite a bit or doing some other kind of advanced move to stay ahead of the game here and keep ahead of these zombies, because they do get ridiculously fast, and it's something that you need to adjust for. It's some people who just passed around 15 weren't really expecting it, can be overtaken and surprised by how the speed just increases almost with the blink of an eye. So be on watch out for that, being careful and being aware about the round 50 speed increase, and then also getting stamina up or switching up a strategy to help you survive that is absolutely crucial if you want to be, you know, a top tier player. So coming today at our number 7 spot is keeping probably one of the best elixirs in the game right now, Anywhere But Here. And this is a free one. It's a classic. Now, the reason why Anywhere But Here is such a crutch is because, number one, you have unlimited uses of them, right? You don't have to pay for them. They don't cost plasma or anything. You can run them game to game, and it's also the best get out of jail free card, even better than the common one, I believe, In Plain Sight, which does cost plasma. Like, In Plain Sight will allow you to be ignored by the zombies for 10 seconds, and then you're kind of just thrown back into it. Anywhere But Here will completely throw you somewhere else and also give you like a 1 to 2 second resting period where the zombies will not track you. So Anywhere But Here is by far superior, and I literally don't play without it. It's so crutch, and it's something that will save you a lot of downs. The only downside to keep in mind about this elixir is that in the current build of the game, Anywhere But Here takes around 20 full minutes to cool down once you pass a round, so it takes quite a bit for you to use multiple uses. Now, I do believe this is going to be changed very soon in an upcoming patch. They're going to make it a little bit less time for it to recharge, probably hopefully back to where it was when the game came out. We'll have to see, but regardless, it's still free. You can use it, you know, pretty often, and you can also kind of spam and wait at the end of rounds for your elixir to recharge in case you need it again for the next round as well. Now, taking our number 6 spot for today on this list is using Quick Revive. Now, honestly, I kind of see Quick Revive as the juggernaut of this game. Since we don't have a dedicated Jug perk, this kind of almost replaces it in the same way as Jug did. Now, what Quick Revive essentially allows you to do is recharge your health faster. This is assuming you're just running it as a regular perk and not in your modifier. But if you have Quick Revive in either of those 3 slots, Quick Revive is going to allow you to gain your health back faster after taking damage and in more increments when your health bar is going up. So for reference, if you're at 50 HP, if you do not have Quick Revive, it's going to take you a full 9 seconds to go back to to 200 HP. However, if you're using quick revive, it's only going to take you 6 seconds, and that might not seem like a lot, but in a game like Zombies, 3 seconds can be the difference between life and death when it comes down to it. In my opinion anyway, quick revive is definitely one of those more crutch perks, and it belongs in the holy trinity of perks along with Dying Wish and Stamina, in my opinion. Those are my absolute favorite, and I really don't end up playing without those either. So quick revive is an absolute must-have and is essentially the Juggernaut equivalent of this game. Now, taking our number 5 spot today is using the point system correctly. Now, in BO4, the release of the game, the point system worked way differently than it does right now, and I honestly don't think that it's done being tweaked with either. It's a completely different system and a reward pattern how it was in the previous games, and I don't think every single person is really up to speed or even knows about these changes. Now, for reference, the things that they made about the damage tables being capped around 50 and stuff like that had to mean that the points that you earn for shooting zombies with bullet weapons had to be changed. So right now, all you need to know is that you cannot really, load up on points by using a bullet weapon that doesn't have a lot of damage. You don't really get that 10 points per hit anymore, so it really comes down to damage. Now, that means you don't really need to rely on things like SMGs, and if you otherwise would run a shotgun, just to do just straight DPS if you're doing an Easter egg step, or, you just need to put out a lot of damage. Melee kills still do definitely award you the most points at 150, followed by headshots, and then, regular body shots, and then vice versa, stuff like that. So it kind of goes down the list in the same way that you remember from old zombie games, but the damage values and the tables are all different. So no longer you can spam these bullet weapons just to load up on points. You actually got to think about it in terms of damage now. Now, coming in today at our number 4 spot is one of those things that's easier said than done, and this is using your specialist weapon to give yourself armor, and also the management of keeping that specialist weapon available for when you do need that armor to call on. Now, we've all been there where we've taken it down and we realized that we either had our specialist weapon that could have got us out of that, or we were like 1 or 2 kills away from filling that back up and avoiding that scenario. And it becomes one of those things where it's another skill set in and of itself to manage that specialist weapon and just keep an eye on it. And then also, not only that, but if you're able to kind of perceive a down about to happen maybe a second or 2 before, because unfortunately you don't actually get the armor as soon as you call it the specialist. It takes around a second to half a second for it to fully activate, and that's different from the elixirs, which activate immediately and make you invulnerable. Not the case with the specialist, so it's not quite as effective as using an elixir, but sometimes it's all you have to work with. Now, coming at number 4 today is paying attention to your drop cycle. So I think that most players are not really aware of how the drop cycle works. Some people think that it's completely RNG and you can get as many drops you want per round. They can be whatever it is. That's not quite how it is. Actually, there is a bit of structure to it, and the way that this is commonly referred to is just the drop cycle. Basically, what you need to know about this is that you can get a max cap of 4 drops per round, and obviously the exception is the special rounds, which will give you max ammo, but you can get up to 4 drops per round, and every time you play, you start a drop cycle, and you'll get 1 of each drop until all of them have been completed, and then the cycle is going to reset in a completely different and random order until you go through all of those drops again. There's only a couple ways you can manipulate this, like for example, if you don't move the mystery box, you're not going to end up getting any fire sales throughout the match. I believe it still works in BO4 that if you don't open any doors at all, you won't get any carpenter. So things like that, you can somewhat manipulate the cycle, but really not too much at all, and that's probably the most prominent ways to do it. But paying attention to your drop cycle can be useful as to tell you when or how much of a chance you have to get a max ammo, when that's going to be coming up, when is your next carpenter, which is pretty important now, and just stuff like that. Having an overall knowledge of your match and just being more in tune with it is always good to do. Taking our number 3 spot is a tip that's going to get pretty technical, but it's a good movement feature if you don't have stamina up, or even if you do have stamina up, just to kind of maneuver and get around a little bit easier. Now, if you remember the G slide from Black Ops 3, you can do the same thing somewhat in BO4 to a certain degree. G sliding is good to get around the map if you don't currently have stamina up, or if you're just setting up a game and you haven't got around to it yet. What it essentially involves you doing is, the best way to G slide is to start sprinting and then jump, and then hold circle or B if you're about to cue a slide before you hit the ground, and as soon as your feet touch, you hit X again, or your jump button, to boost you up into the air once again. If you time this perfectly, you should do kind of like a little bunny hop, and while it's definitely not going to make you zoom around the map, it does burn less of your stamina overall, and will avoid you going into that really slow sprint until you do get stamina. But if you have it in the Odin or tonic slot, it really doesn't matter if you're G sliding, because you have a limited sprint anyways, but it's just something useful that I would keep in mind. Coming in at the number 2 spot is just like a general tip that is good to know about, but it just comes down to game knowledge. Now, using items that have infinite damage is always going to be useful, and especially if you're playing for high rounds. Now, what I mean by that is weapons that can kill without having a damage drop off on any round. So a bad example of something that does not have infinite damage is the golden spork from Blood of the Dead. Now, that is only a one-hit melee up until round 34, and then its damage starts to fall off and becomes a two-hit. Now, something like the Hell's Redeemer is infinite damage. Now, I actually did have people telling me the other day that it got nerfed and it's not infinite anymore, so I'm not exactly sure. I can't verify that because I haven't had enough time to test it. But Black Ops 2, and I assume in BO4, the Redeemer still is infinite damage and will kill without having a damage drop off on any round. Same thing with the alternate ammo types. Something like Blast Furnace, or really any alternate ammo type in Black Ops 4 for that matter, are going to have infinite damage and are all pretty good for high rounds play. The only one that I don't believe had infinite damage in BO3 was Fireworks. Now, it was kind of a weird one. It depended on the gun you're using and a couple different variables and things like that. So it was kind of weird, but they completely have removed Fireworks in BO4, and we're down to the 4 main ones now. But they're all really good for high rounds play. Things that I recommend are the one like Brain Rot, which is the new Turned, and also Deadwire, which is called Kilowatt now. Overall, just having a knowledge on what utility to use game to game and what's the best thing to run overall, it will give you a much better experience too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming in today at our #1 spot is probably one of the most useful tips as far as the mechanics in Black Ops 4 that I can ever tell you. And it's one of those things where you're probably not going to see this too often other than like my channel. I haven't really seen anybody that's used this or talk about it. It's a very, very niche kind of pro tip. And this is going to be a method that you can use to throw off zombie tracking and stay alive if you otherwise would have got cornered and died. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is me getting ready to run by just a regular horde in zombies. I'm playing the map 9, and I've got a very, tight-knit kind of train going here with all the zombies moving in one direction, tracking towards me as they should be. But watch this. I'm going to run through this horde. They're still fully tracked, but what I'm going to do is give a nice little jump and then a 360 while I'm in the air. And as you can see, if you look at these zombies closely, they start getting confused, turned around, and they bump into each other, and they get all like untracked and don't know where to go. And they retrack immediately as soon as you hit the ground, so it only lasts for around half a second while you're in the air and spin. But this will 100% without a doubt save your life when used correctly. You don't need to do this all the time. It's not always necessary, but when you're in a situation where you really need to push out of a certain corner or you won't have enough space to by yourself, you can put some distance between you and the zombies by yourself. And it's a super useful tool. It's very, very advanced. It's something that I maybe recommend you practice if you want to play first rooms and stuff like that. It's a mega useful tool for doing those, but otherwise that's just something to keep in mind for when you need it. But anyways, guys, those are going to be the 10 things that only pro players do in Black Ops 4 Zombies. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video and learned something from it. If you did, let me know in the comment section what you learned from it, and also give me your feedback. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it for sure, and subscribe if you're new to the channel for more videos just like this. I can't stress enough, I have some really cool stuff planned in the future for you guys, so you're definitely going to want to stick around and be ready for that when it comes out. But anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching once again. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, go join my Discord server. All that stuff will be linked down below inside the description. But other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy, guys, and peace out.